Meanwhile, in Washington, are statements like these hurting our troops? The clock has already run out. That's Republican Senator Susan Collins. A dead end. Democratic Senator Hillary Clinton. We have anarchy in Iraq. It's getting worse. Republican Senator Chuck Hagel. My next guests say that these politicians should remember that our brave men and women fighting over there are hearing all of this over here. They are Major Chuck Larson. He served in Iraq for a year. And Move America Forward founder Melanie Morgan. Also with us, Major General Bob Scales, who has a somewhat different take. So, Major Larson, to you first. When you would hear this kind of stuff or controversy being raised in the United States, did it affect you in Iraq?
Well, absolutely, Neil. And our soldiers watch Fox News and many other news outlets, and so they hear about it. And they're running a tough mission, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and they need to know that our elected officials stand behind them. We have one commander-in-chief who makes military decisions, and it's important that we support his decision and see the course of this military action to its end.
Melanie, do any this foster the debate that debate is good? In other words, soldiers know, well, this is part of the democracy we're defending.
We can have a productive debate all day long if the Senate and the Congress so chooses to do about the war, but let's frame it in the context of how we win it. What I'm hearing coming from Capitol Hill is a debate about how to retreat and how to be defeated by the enemy. I am not hearing from our elected representatives or from other anti-war groups across the country a way to victory, and it's terribly important that we support our troops right now. They do get television and the internet, and they have all sorts of news services in Iraq. They know and hear what's going on, and if we don't communicate the message to them that we here in this country are here to back them, they're going to grow discouraged. Now, I'm in contact with hundreds and hundreds of these troop members, and they're beginning to get discouraged by what they perceive to be a lack of will to fight this war to the finish.
General, you've been there, done that, know this. What do you say?
Well, first of all, obviously, it ticks off the soldiers, particularly those in the theater. But this is different than the war I fought in Vietnam. That was a drafted army. This is a long-service professional army that pretty much is, if you will, inoculated against the ramblings of Congress or bleedings in the media. These guys get up in the morning, they put on their rucksack, they lock and load, they go off on patrol, and they come home at night to a square meal. Are they affected? Sure, they're affected. The only caveat I'll give you, Neil, is really centers around the family members. You know, the wives, the girlfriends, the mothers, parents back home are affected by this to some degree, and that, of course, then in turn affects the soldiers who are in the box.
But, General, when it was happening during Vietnam, a pretty controversial conflict, did it ever affect you?
Oh, sure. I mean, I was a battery commander on Hamburger Hill, and I remember setting up on Firebase Birch's Garden listening to the freshman senator from Massachusetts rail against the battle that I was actually fighting in. So you bet your life it affected me. But I don't think it's going to affect readiness or the willingness of our young men and women to fight the war, and that's the important thing.
Major, let me ask you, there's someone who's also been there in the heat of battle. The argument of those opposed to this war is we support our troops, we don't support this mission, and we're here to defend and help these troops so that they're not in harm's way. Did that resonate with you? Did that resonate with your buddies?
No, not at all. And again, these young men and women are running a very tough mission. They've done a great job. Many more successes than we hear about in America. But the bottom line is that we have to succeed in this war, or we'll be back in 2 to 3 years. We'll see stability, we'll see the entire region become very unstable and a greater threat to our national security.
You know what I wonder about, Melanie, and in all due deference to our heroes here, I wonder the younger soldiers, how it affects their view of their commander-in-chief if all they hear is their commander-in-chief getting ripped up and down.
Well, you have to wonder, because that's exactly what I've been hearing. The younger people, in many ways, are more vulnerable to the criticism that they hear coming back from across the United States. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot claim to support the troops without supporting the mission, because it is the job of these young men and young women to go and kill people, and those people are Islamic terrorists, and those people are the same people who would devastate America if they had an opportunity, half a chance, they'd kill all of us happily. So we have to make sure that those people are supported. That's why at Move America Forward, we're undergoing a major fundraising push in order to spread the good news about what is continuing to happen in Iraq, and also for the Gold Star family members, people who have lost sons and daughters in the war in Iraq, to go back over there and visit. That is a great morale booster for both sides, believe it or not.
All right. Melanie, final word on the subject. Major and General, I want to thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.